Hello everyone, welcome back. You're watching Empyrion Galactic Survival episode 86. I'm Enigmius, and today, if you missed the last episode, we started building a new capital vessel, and we're continuing with that. The front profile specifically for the hangar. The hangar is going to be a very prominent feature on the ship, so we're spending a little bit of time getting this front profile set up the way that we want it to be. I neglected to mention the name of the ship in the last episode. I put it in the title of the video, but I didn't mention it at all when we started building it. The ship is called Cetorhinus, from the Latin Cetorhinus maximus, which is the name for a basking shark. This guy here, the second largest fish in the ocean, and a very, very big mouth. And that's basically due to the giant hangar door on the front of this ship is what inspired me to go with that sort of a name. I could have come up with a worse name, I suppose. So if you're wondering what the name is and where it's from, that's the deal there. The first profile that I did on the hangar, and we showed in the last episode, was an elliptical profile. Basically, you're looking at it from the front, there's an ellipse with the hangar door in the middle. I wasn't completely satisfied with it because as I was looking at it and trying to figure out what we were going to do from there, it became very, very clear that it was going to be difficult to transition to the sides, the top, and the bottom of the hangar without having extremely limited design capability in the transition. In other words, we could do like a 90-degree transition, or we could do maybe a 45-degree angle transition in certain places. But if we wanted to do something more elaborate, the original shape of the ellipse wasn't going to work. So what I did was we started reworking it. You can see here, it's going to maintain something of an elliptical profile, but the angles that we're using and the way that we're putting them together will make it easier to do those smooth transitions. I want sort of a curving transition around to the side of the hangar. I'm not too worried about the top and the bottom. The top and the bottom can be flat as far as I'm concerned. They can be 90-degree transitions from the front. But the sides, I really wanted to have something a little bit more interesting, so that's why we're spending a little bit of extra time on the front of the hangar. Once we get this done, the rest of the hangar will go together very, very quickly. It'll basically be a matter of extending the walls all the way to the back, where the back is going to be. We'll spend a little bit more time in the back of the hangar with the hangar doors there, and then we can do some detailing on the sides. Not so much detailing on the underside and the top of the hangar. The underside will basically be close to the ground if it's ever landed on a planet. The top is going to be obscured by the superstructure of the ship that's going to be sort of looking like it's sitting on top of the hangar as though they're two separate ships, is kind of the idea that I'm going for. So either way, it doesn't make a lot of sense to invest a ton of time into the detail work on the top of the hangar if you're not going to be able to see it in most cases. Capital ships being what they are, the size of the capital ship blocks, it's one of those things where you can use very few blocks and cover a relatively large area compared to a hover vessel or a small vessel. So it's very, very easy to build something that's extremely large relative to what your character sees in the world without using too many blocks at all, relatively speaking. The idea here is that we don't want to make it so large that we're going to have so many blocks required to finish the build that it becomes something that we can't enjoy. There's too much resources required in order to make it happen. Having said that, we also don't want to make it so small that we don't have an opportunity to do much design work. The smaller the ship, the less room that you have to make things go together in ways that make sense and look good. So for this specific example, it's going to be a pretty large ship, and I am quite happy with that. You can see we've done the right side now, we've reworked it. The left side here is how it was previously, in case you missed the last episode. So now we're just skipping that part there. I wanted to make sure you could see that we did in fact skip it. We copied the design over to the left side, got rid of the old elliptical design, and now what I'm putting in place is kind of like a test design that I want to have for the front of the hangar. The whole idea here is that I can put something in place. It doesn't take very long. It's very, very simple to set up. Mess around with structural designs, textures, and paint, and then just leave it and let it sit there for a day or two as I'm working on other areas of the ship. And just by having it there, I'll see it several times just in passing, and I'll be able to decide for myself whether it's really something that I'm happy with or whether I want to try something else. In this case, I haven't decided yet whether I'm happy with it or if we're going to try something else. But what really stood out for me in the process of setting this up and deciding, you know, how I might want to describe it, is that this is less about the structural elements, it's less about the blocks that we're placing, and more about the textures and the colors that we choose to use with them that's going to determine whether or not this is a successful design. So I'll let you watch the rest of this come together. There's a little bit left. This is basically the design that I just finished there. Now we're going to finish it over on this side as well. Some texture, some paint, and then, like I say, in the next episode, we're going to be focusing on finishing the transition around to the sides, block in the sides, the top, the bottom, get everything ready to start working on the rear of the hangar, and then from there, it'll be all of the structural stuff and the superstructure of the ship, or what appears to be a second ship sitting on top of the hangar that will be carrying all of the equipment like the generators and all of those things. So if you want to be notified about the next video, the easiest way to do that is to subscribe to my channel or follow me on social media. Links for social media are always in the information section below the video. Feel free to leave your comments and feedback. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.